Alright, we are back with more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. We just finished the first trial of the first day's trial of the second case. 22nd February, 1:11 p.m. Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. Made it back in one piece. Just to be perfectly honest, I thought we were finishing there for a while. Oh, I know. What a lot of close shaves. There's so many carriages on the streets of London. You were very nearly flattened several times. Oh no, I didn't mean that. Yes, I know. It was a marvelous defense, Naruhodo-san. It really was. I was in awe of you. Oh, thank you. And now that your fervent exploits have won us some more precious investigation time, let's see if we can't find some new clues for court tomorrow. Yeah, let's do that. Is everything alright? I suppose I still can't quite believe it, and that's all. I'm here in England working as a lawyer, I mean. In the Old Bailey, no less. The truth is, it shouldn't be me, should it? It should be him standing in my shoes. It should be Kazuma. It was Kazuma-sama's wish that you follow him to Great Britain and work alongside him. Yes, I mean, I never had the chance to ask him exactly why, but he clearly had a plan. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. And you're doing wonderfully, Naruhodo-san. I have no doubt that Kazuma-sama would say exactly the same if he were here with us. Thank you, Susato-san. Thank you. It was quite a shock earlier today, wasn't it? And then the victim himself turned up in court and took the stand. I know. Not only that, then finding out he's actually a barefaced gas thief as well. Yes, that was certainly a surprise to us all. For a while, it seemed as though everyone had quite forgotten about Soseki's-san poisoning the tea. Great, careful of your phrasing, Susato-san. He didn't poison anything. And there's more to this Mr. Shamspear than we yet know, I'm sure of it. Mr. Shamspear was... certainly wasn't the noble, outstanding man everyone thought he was at first. What's become of him, actually? I'm told that he'd be returning to the hospital where he was receiving treatment. Oh, which one is that? Let me see. Ah, yes, he's at St. Bartholomew's. Or Bart's is the one English call it. We know that place, don't we? We shouldn't, because Sholmes hasn't been shot yet. Yes, we visited Miss... Oh, that... Right, I forgot we went to Miss... We saw Miss... I forgot we went and visited Miss Green. Yes, we visited Miss Green there yesterday. It's the same hospital to which she was taken. Ah, yes, after Soseki-san stabbed her in the back. He didn't do that. Do be careful of your phrasing, Mr. Naruhodo-san. He didn't stab anyone. Perhaps we both owe Soseki-san an apology. St. Bartholomew's, yes. We should probably visit the hospital later. So you know that Soseki-san took tea to the victim on the night in question. But as he isn't the culprit, then obviously... Yes, the poison surely wasn't in the tea. But if that's the case, how on earth did the poison get into Mr. Shamspear's body? I'm sure we'll find a clue at the scene. There must be something in Mr. Shamspear's room that will help solve the mystery. Naturally, Scotland Yard detectives have been over the place already, but it couldn't hurt for us to have another look around. Definitely. And I'm desperate to know the outcome of the investigation into the tea let in the bar of soap. Well, if we're running to Inspector Gregson, we can ask about that. He's probably not going to give us any information. What do you mean? Kazuma Asugi, the best friend I ever had, and a lawyer with such promise. I'm going to save my bacon in that horrible incident just before I left Japan. I can still picture him now, looking so fierce and determined in court. Then after the trial, the crazy idea he came up with. As a stowaway? Yes, you can fit inside my trunk if you curl up small enough, I'm sure. No. Cousin, won't you tell me why? Why go to these lengths so that I can accompany you to Great Britain? It's been on my mind ever since we got through that trial. That you really ought to go into law, be a defense lawyer. You've got a natural talent for it, believe me, I guarantee it. But I've never even thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, I can't force you, obviously. You'll have to decide for yourself. But anyway, London is still the cultural capital of the world. The city is at the forefront of everything. It can't hurt for you to see it with your own eyes. No, that's true. I suppose, though, if you were to become a lawyer, then one day... One day what? Oh, no. Never mind. Huh? Naruhodo-san? Oh, sorry, I was just thinking about Kazuyo. Yes, she is forever in my thoughts too. To change the Japanese judicial system for the better, that was his dream. And that's why he so desperately wanted to come to Great Britain to study, of course. That's right, but... Yes? I do wonder if his true intentions lay elsewhere sometimes. I don't know, the thought just takes hold of me every now and again, that's all. Naruhodo-san, what do you mean by Kazuma-sama's true intentions? I mean this. His katana? I never expected to inherit this sword after Kazuma passed away, of course. No, I know. It was because I asked you to take it. When I have it at my side in court, I feel as though it gives me courage. Yes. Actually, the night before he died, he told me a little about the sword. Karuma? That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. A Japanese man's sword is a Suryo Asugi. I can't be parted from my katana. Karuma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two? Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important I have to do in Great Britain. Something you have to do? Yes. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. What do you mean by something very important that I have to do? I'd hoped the answer to that question would become apparent when we arrived here, but as yet I've not found a single clue. I see. I guess let's move then? The ring initials is sweet. Anything here? Probably, right? 22nd of February, Sholmes is sweet. It's easy! Hooray! You're back! Hello, Iris. You're in fine spirits as always, I see. Oh, you flatter me. You can give me a bit of time. Teach me about the tea, I'll set some cups. Really? Thanks, Iris, but actually, what's that foul smell? Aha! The Wanderers return at last. What on earth have the pair of you been? I've been in court? Oh, for the Mr. Mustache's case. That was today, was it? That was today, was it? That was today. That was today, was it? I'm sure I mentioned it only yesterday, Mr. Sholmes. I'm sure you think you did. Ahahaha! Well, we can laugh about it now. So tell me, how did the trial go? Isabel well so far managed to escape without a guilty verdict, at least. Really, I would have liked to see it. And now I must pass the time of day. And the time of day with Mr. Reaper again. It's been too long. And I must pass the time of day with Mr. Reaper again. It's been too long. Is Lord Van Zeet some acquaintance, Mr. Sholmes? Naturally. There's not a person in the world who doesn't know my name, Mr. Naruto. Not quite what I asked, but still. Mr. Sholmes, whatever is that odor? Yes, what is it? It's food, but absolutely awful. Ah, indeed. That's the scent of victory, my dear fellows. Victory in science. Oh, dear. Alright, I'll bite. What's he up to now? So about Van Zeeks first. Lord Baron Van Zeeks, yes. It's an interesting Holbrook that he has, isn't it? Sobriquet he has, isn't it? The Reaper of the Bailey. Once the legendary prosecutor has fought for someone's conviction, that person is doomed. Even if he or she is found not guilty by the courts, sooner or later the soul will vanish from the capital. But vanish how exactly? By falling under a passing carriage, or drowning of the chains. Or succumbing to a sudden fever, or quite out of the blue, being set upon by a highwayman. There are numerous routes to one's final terminus, my dear fellow. It all seems a little far-fetched, really. Well, on the bright side, Mr. Mustache is fighting fit, for the time being, at least. That's not overly reassuring. If the rumors are true, though, the obvious conclusion would surely be that those acquitted are, well, by Lord Van Zeeks' own hand. As it happens, Miss Susato, that is quite impossible. Oh? Why? Naturally, the man very quickly came under such suspicion. However, whenever these incidents occurred, the Reaper always had a cast-iron alibi. Really? And so his reign continued. But 5 years ago, he vanished from the courts, never to appear as a prosecutor again. That is, until you arrived in the country, Mr. Naruto. Yes, so I've heard. In fact, it was the very day I arrived when I was thrust into that trial at the Old Bailey. That bitter fight to the death coincided with the Reaper's resurrection. It really did end bitterly indeed. And here you are, facing Mr. Reaper again. I don't know if it's incredibly unlucky. Incredibly unlikable. I think it goes deeper than just me. I sense a general loathing of all Japanese people. What is that smell, Sholmes? It's driving me insane! So, what is that indescribably foul smell? Ah, well, most probably this, I would say. What is that? My dear fellow, it is, of course, my latest invention. A chemical that can identify whether or not a tea is genuine at the drop of some tea. Oh my! There are some unscrupulous sorts manning the stalls along some of London's lesser frequented streets. They regularly sell what purports to be high-quality tea, but is in fact merely dry leaves of drab flavor. Well, it's certainly unsavory behavior. So, when one is presented with what appears to be black tea, one must be careful. Iris? It's ready, Hurley. I'll just add a drop of my chemical to this cup of tea. Do you see what happens? It's turned completely black. And what a foul odor it's giving off. Indeed, the blacker the tea becomes, the more foul the odor, the better the tea is. It would appear that this cup was a particularly fine Darjeeling. That's very ingenious, but what do you do with that black liquid now? Well, I dispose of it, naturally. Surely you wouldn't drink it, would you? There does seem to be a rather obvious problem with your new invention, Mr. Sholmes. Hence why this chemical test is merely a test, my dear madam. Right. The point is, we are entering a new era of science, in the world of criminal investigation also. Yes, forensic science! Oh, these are exciting times. Such exciting times. I regularly engage in this scientific experimentation alongside my unofficial consulting detective. The Herlock Sholmes method will be the foundation upon which... Oops, I bumped my mic. Upon which modern investigative technique is based. This little tea indicant was a happy product of my ongoing forensic research. Forensic science. So we should find out more about that. Well, let's talk about Japanese people first. With Mr. Natsumi, I'm currently defending being Japanese as well as Mr. Sado and myself. I felt it even more keenly in court today. For some reason, Lord Ranzit seems to have an inherent disdain of the Japanese. Indeed. It is an interesting observation. Do you know something about it? Do you, Mr. Jones? It was about 10 years ago that Barak von Season chose to enter the legal profession. However, before that time, the young man's closest companion hailed from the Empire of Japan. No! What the? Tell us more, Mr. Sholmes. What happened? I believe I've made it clear before. I'm unable to tell you anything about the affair. Oh, but... The veil will be lifted on the events of the past in due course, I have no doubt. For now, however, it is Mr. Moustache who is most deserving of your attention, I believe. Well, let's talk about forensic science, because Ryunosuke doesn't understand how forensics works, even though he's a practicing lawyer. So your T-test, is that an example of forensic science? Indeed it is. As an essential tool in cases that hinge on the knowledge of whether some tea is of high or inferior quality. Not a huge number of cases, though. Perhaps a more practical example is required. Fingerprints? Not yet accepted in our closest evidence, I might add. Really, we are dragging our heels there. I hadn't even heard of them until recently. Which is partly why I undertake research in this field myself, of course. Does that mean you're studying fingerprints, Mr. Jones? There are others in that field already, and I abhor the company of inferior minds. No, what I am researching is skin prints. Skin prints? A nomenclature of my own design, as this chemical agent makes it possible. It instantly reveals objects touched by whichever person is under investigation. Brilliant, Mr. Sholmes! As long as it doesn't turn everything completely odorous and black. I assure you, my dear fellows, you will witness my forensic talents in action very soon indeed. Well, I think we should go back to the scene and see if we can uncover any new clues. That's the spirit, you know. See you later. Yes, until later. No, Mr. Schultz, we were thinking you'd come with us. You were? Yes, of course. You just said so a moment ago. You said we'd witness your forensic talents in action. Ah, yes, I do recall saying something along those lines. But you go on ahead. I shall be sure to follow you later, in all likelihood. Probably. Maybe. Well, I might. Your commitment astounds me. Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes. We'll eagerly await your arrival. Bye, Susie. Wait, what? Oh, I saw Shanspeare's room and was thinking, okay. I saw Shanspeare's room and was thinking that was the hospital room. 22nd February, Mr. Natsume's lodgings, ground floor. Oh, hello again, Inspector Grayson. What are you doing here? Well, we were hoping to have another look around, actually. The lawyer representing the defendant has a right to examine the scene, as I'm sure you're aware. Yeah, I know the score. Oh yes, one other thing. There was soap on the ledge outside the window. Did you find it? Was the tea in it? Yeah, we found it, alright. There was a small amount of tea in it, as you said. I knew it. It's with the identification section at the yard now. They're looking into it. Results should be available later in the day. That's wonderful news. Thank you. Pretty impressive performance in court this morning. Sorry? Nothing. Forget it. Just make sure you don't disturb anything. Mr. Sholmes, what are you up to over there? What a question indeed. Was it not your good self who asked me to attend the scene? Oi! What are you doing here, Sholmes? What are you up to over there? What are you doing here? Dear me, once a great detective, one was always under scrutiny, it seems. Is now the time, Mr. Sholmes? Are you about to show us your forensic talents in action as you promised? With the greatest of pleasure, my dear madam. What's all this? All this is precisely what you requested, Mr. Naruhodo. Mr. Sholmes' sensational skin print secret gun. Moments ago, I took a sample from the teacup that was used by the victim. A sample from Mr. Shanspeare's cup? Each individual leaves microscopic secretions on everything he or she touches. A sample of those secretions is all I need to produce this, a refined indicator solution. By deliberately spraying the room with this chemical, everything the victim touched is instantly revealed with the aid of these goggles. Shouldn't we be checking everything that the defendant touched? Yeah, try them on. There, now spray the chemical indicator about, and all will be revealed. Spray. Now, how do I do that exactly? A little expressive space in the area you're interested in is all that's required, like this. Ah, what is that stuff? It's like fog. A suspension of the chemical indicator in a pressurized gas. It's the most efficient way to cover a large area. That was another invention I discovered incidentally whilst I was developing this idea. As you do. Go ahead, try it out, my dear fellow. Might learn something interesting about the victim's moments on the night in question. Well, there's nothing to lose, I suppose. Let's explore. I was really hoping to see some prints in like a really weird spot. Look, there are dozens of handprints here. So there are a great many indeed. So much so that it's hard to make out any one individual print in front. It sends a chill down my spine. Perhaps he was leaning against the wall while he admired this picture? Unlikely, I would say. It's a rather dull scene. And without wishing to state the obvious, you wouldn't generally admire a picture from such close quarters, I feel. Oh, very true, Mr. Jones. It's a bit of a mystery, then. I'm very clearly missing something, and I don't know what. What the? Oh, look at all this here. As soon as I reset the audio, because it's definitely broken. Ah, yes, very interesting. A multitude of the victims' handprints. Why are there so many of them on the floor in this one spot? Oh, perhaps he had a bad fall just here. There's nothing obvious that he would have tripped over, though, is there? I wonder. Yes, I often stumble when there's nothing obvious to trip over. I think that's something only a great detective would do, Mr. Jones. Well, this is quite a puzzle. Handprints all over the floor. Yes, there's no obvious explanation. They were fighting, right? He and Natsume. Oh, we spread Mr. Jones' amazing skin print indicator all over this room, didn't we? We did, but there are two places in particular that are of interest, I would say. The handprints on the floor there, and on the wall by the picture, you mean? Well, that was interesting. Go back to that floor angle a little bit. Look at this Scooby-Doo floor panel thing. Or piece of wood. Yes, and I think the floor warrants closer investigation. It won't be a moment. Ah! What is it? Ah! What is it, Mr. Sato? Look here, Mr. Naruhodo. One of the floorboards has popped out. One of the... It's a secret hiding place? It's a... What, Mr. Sato? So, what do we have in here? Oi! What are you lot doing? Inspector Grayson, stand aside right this minute. It's my job to investigate here. There. No need, Inspector. You continue to dig into your portion of chips while we dig around under the floor here. Your fancy talk's putting me off my food anyway, Sholmes. No better evidence is exactly what I need. Wow, secret hiding place under the floor. What a find. It's not a hiding place you can make use of in Japan. I don't think I could lift draw a tatami mat. No, I know, but I never expected one of these wooden floorboards to move either. It's got me wondering about the wall over there, too. Aren't you curious? Oh! I'll investigate at once! There's nothing behind the picture, sadly. Only the wall. What the? Something popped up on my... There was a loading thingy for some reason. Did I disconnect? No, doesn't look like it. How disappointing. Then how do you explain the handprints? I really can't think of why anyone would have been touching the wall over and over in one place like that. click, whir. There you are, a print for you. Photograph of the handprints on the wall has been entered into the court record. Oh, thank you very much. So eventually you can make prints too. Maybe it had to do with the gas? Now then. I wonder if Inspector Cranston found anything under the floor there. I'm desperate to know! So am I! Oh, there's anything hidden underneath that floorboard there. Allow me to ask Gregson now. After all, we're well acquainted. Inspector Gregson, really, it's been too long. What is it, Jones? I thought perhaps you might show me what you found there, seeing as we were such good friends. We're not friends. No, I suppose not. A dismal failure. Yes, I heard. I'll get killed if no one's under that floorboard. Alright then, fair's fair. What? You did discover the hiding place after all. I suppose I should at least fill you in. Really, Inspector? Thank you. Do it quickly, my dear fellow. If there's one thing I'd like to know about this man, it's that he blows the wind, as fickle as the weather. Oi, stop making me out to be some kind of nut. There are 3 items on the floor there. A newspaper clipping, a photographic print, and a 10 pots. Now, what do you want to know? Can I ask about all 3? I'm gonna say the 10 bots first. Now this 10 bots is interesting, doesn't it? Might I suggest, Inspector, that you open the top? Open it? If you were to find something inside that reveals the truth behind this case, I wouldn't be in the least bit surprised. Yeah, funnily enough, I've already had a look. It's completely empty. What? Shamspear, give us a clue, man! You didn't even have the chance to utter a word, Mr. Naruhodo. But anyway, at least we found out what's inside the box. Yes, thin air. It's empty, rather like how I go inside. Something more than this box then? I wonder. Hey, that's Mr. Gyardeb and someone else. So this is the photograph, if I found. What's reasonably recent to me. Yes, it would appear to have been taken on the street in front of the house here. And the gentleman on the left is Mr. Gyardeb, the landlord, of course. There's the younger man on the right. Mr. Gyardeb's son, perhaps? Perhaps. You can take that print if you like. Really? Are you sure? We can presume, therefore, that the yard already knows. The editor of the young fellow, that is. Ah, is that true? Is he William? Well, that's too bad if we do. Unfortunately for you, leaking information isn't one of my pastimes. My dear Inspector, I might be so bold as to point something out. Pastimes are for one's leisure, but this is for work. All the more reason I'm not telling you. I just won't fail you. Yes, I heard. Hidden photograph added to the court record. I wonder why a photograph like this was hidden under the floor. I mean, I can't examine it, really. Mr. Shakespeare himself isn't in it. Photographic pencil still rare treasures in the East End. I imagine Mr. Gardner was rather delighted to have been immortalized. He probably made a proud present of it. Looks like this was cut out of the newspaper about 3 months ago. It's about a convict who got sick and died while he was serving time up in Manchester. How terrible. It made the headlines and in London as well. The bloke had been sentenced to death, you see, but nature got him first. Oh my goodness! He committed a capital offense? A man by the name of Sullivan managed to be some work into burglaries and murder. They say that what he'd knocked off was worth about £1,000. Hoard? Treasure, you mean? Jewelry and the like, but he hid it somewhere and no one knows where. And now he's dead. In papers London, of course, £1,000 lost en route to hell. Or some such was the headline. Does it not strike you, though? Why such an article would be so carefully ensconced under the floor? Suppose now you mention it does seem bad. Perhaps I'll go over the paper we got on Sunday and see if I can't turn anything up. Capital offender article entered into the courtroom. Hey, it's Suzuki's cat. Manchester Strangeways prison announced a deathly committed murder and burglary, seldom by natural causes. In the early hours of the morning, he had been suffering with fever since the end of October. Alerted by the shouts of his fellow cellmate, medical staff arrived to find him already dead before his capital punishment could be carried out. You know, I wish I could look at the actual picture on this article, but... Oh look! It's that lovely little kitty cat! What was its name? Wagahai! Wagahai. It's Mr. Natsume's, isn't it? I don't think we ever asked him, actually. What do you call it, Wagahai? You know, that Mr. Natsume refers to himself in Japanese. I wonder how he got in here. Clever cat. Oh, wonderful! Well done, Wagahai! Here's something delicious I brought you from the cat's meat man! No, Wagahai. You couldn't be happier now. Look! This hope we can bring some happiness to this owner, too. That was a cheeky little meow, Wagahai. Oh, he's so adorable. I could sit and watch him forever. I think he may not appreciate that after a while. We have an investigation to get back to. So Wagahai... What? Wagahai came from back here. So it turns out that Mr. Shamster wasn't eating the soap at all. That's right, the mystery of why he had it on a plate whilst holding a fork in his hand is solved. Yes, to rise his latest ice coin out of its mold. And in the process, he accidentally brought the bar of soap in too. It certainly was hard to imagine, let alone deduce. If you're gonna that change, you wouldn't even have any light, let alone heat. For the needy, London's winters can be very harsh. That's true, but if you think about it, even the wealthy would find themselves freezing if they eventually ran out of small change. London's winters can be very harsh for the forgetful too, then. Perhaps when Zato-san and I are going to make it to spring. That's true. We don't even have a meter at Baker Street, let alone a gas stove. Look how dark the stain on the floor is underneath the meter there. Yes, from all the water dripping out after the ice coins melted as you established in court this morning. It's a very large and obvious stain, isn't it? Mr. Shakespeare must have used an awful lot of ice coins, I suppose. It's an ingenious idea, I'll give him that. Ah, the ill-fated teacups from which two men drank on the ill-fated night. During their heated literary debate, yes. Who's stronger, Romeo or Juliet? It sounds like it was quite a discussion. Now that I think of it, I'm sure the two lovers in the play ended their lives with poison. That's fiction, Mrs. Zato. Let's hope it stays that way. I mean... So, I think it was Juliet faked her death, and Romeo thought she was actually dead, so committed suicide, and then Juliet was like, oh no, I'm not actually dead. Oh, Romeo's dead, well, I'm also gonna commit suicide. It was one, I'm pretty sure that's how it played out. I don't remember, it's been, like, over 10 years since I read Romeo and Juliet as part of my sport in high school. The sun never shines in this room thanks to that depressing bricked-up window. Yeah, with enough determination, you can always remove the bricks to set some soap outside, can't you? Sounds like a very wise life lesson, Mrs. Zato. I wonder if you plan to follow a life of crime, Mr. Naruhodo. Probably not getting too much longer. We're probably just gonna end. Oh. Racial stage. We're probably gonna finish this investigation, then end off because it's getting kind of hot in here. I guess let's go to Springs Hospital bed. 22nd of February, it's at Bartholomew's Hospital. Recovery ward. What is happening? It sounds like some sort of disturbance. Yeah, I hear angry voices. Be not angry, O noble lady, in the family thou art mistaken. Mistaken, my foot! You were looking at my painting! You were looking at my painting! The eye of man hath not heard, and the ear of man hath not seen. 'Twas foul indeed, the poison that mustached villain gaveth me. Forgive me, lady. I wish he died from that poison. God have mercy, humble lady. Be thou seest, but thou seest, I have vigor still. Behold my Shakespeare dance. This looks rather ominous, doesn't it? Ah, lo, 'tis the lawyer from the land whence riseth the sun. How now? What are you doing here, Mr. Shakespeare? Marry, I do believe I am returned unto another ward. He was looking, that's what he was doing, looking at my terrible work. Decent fellow, so dark-y-clad. Faith, thy work in court this morning was wonderful. I do applaud thee. Oh, well, thank you. But that doesn't mean things will go so wonderfully for you tomorrow, does it? I'm on, it's ill. This answer might technically be the victim in this case, but there's definitely a lot more to it than that. It's very hard to pin the man down. I'm so sorry. I'm such an awful person. Oh, Miss Green, is everything alright? Oh, yes, I mean, don't worry about me. They're about to discharge me, so I must get ready to leave now. Did they not? I thought they were gonna discharge her yesterday. Oh, I see. We're delighted that you'll soon be well enough to go home, Miss Green. Oh dear, you're too kind. I don't deserve it. Okay. Oh. So, are you feeling more like yourself today, Miss Green? I am, thank you. I mean, people do recover from ordeals like this, don't they? Even people like me. Well, yes, it really was an ordeal, wasn't it? As far as I was concerned, I was just walking along in the snow one evening, minding my own business, and then completely out of the blue, I was struck in the back by a knife and collapsed unconscious for days. Of course, when I finally woke up again yesterday, the whole business had been cleared up already. What a terrible week it's been for me. Oh no, I'm very lucky, see. I look back on this fondly. Sorry, I yawned. Really? Anyway, I must be getting my things together now. Also, I'm ready to be discharged. Oh yes, of course. Sorry to take up your time when you're obviously busy. Chancellor's room? Oh, I didn't examine this gas light. This is a gas wall light, isn't it? Must be connected to a gas pipe in the wall. Gas lights? A gas stove? What really is a city of gas? Oh, think about it. Mr. and Mrs. Gerda got a room from the fire on the top floor, didn't they? Oh yes, you're right. Oh yes, you're right. I don't recall seeing a gas stove up there. I much prefer a real fire anyway. It's much cozier. So much cozier. Prison? Question mark? 22nd February, local prison, cell 9. Oh, Mr. Natsume is back! So it is. Mr. Natsume, hello. I am a cat. Sorry? I don't know who Mr. Natsume is, or Hairlock Sholmes. I don't know about courts or trials or Old Baileys. I am a cat. That's what I am. Just a cat. Mr. Naruhodo, he's trying to escape from reality. He already has, completely. So, what is your name then? As yet, I have no name. Mr. Naruhodo, he hasn't fully thought out his new identity yet. Maybe it's not too late to bring him back to reality. Do you think you could open your eyes for us, Mr. Natsume? I am not a cat. It worked! He's back in the real world! Well, what's going to become of me? No! Don't answer that! It's obvious! My cursed soul is never going to escape this cursed fate! Mr. Natsume, no! This morning's proceedings in court proved that there's hope. Yes, local student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire was brilliant, but the wait for his omnipresent in court, in my lodgings, here, there, everywhere. What's he looking straight at me for? I think perhaps there are some things we should discuss. Oh yes, we must. In my whole life, I have ever been so moved have I ever been so moved as I was today? No! Of course, if I guess my mind back, there were perhaps one or two other occasions that moved me more. If I just blot those out, then today being in that courtroom was the most moving experience of my life. Welcome, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. You're too kind. Scotland Yard found the remaining tea just as we deduced, and are analyzing it as we speak. There's nothing wrong with that tea. They won't find a drop of poison in it. That's a solid sworn Soseki certainty. Tell me, did you both drink the tea at the same time that night? Oh yes, most definitely. Remember, drink tea while it's hot. We both poured it down our throats like it was a hot bath for our bellies. That also makes sense considering that it's cold. And at the time, you were both completely fine. As shown by the fact that he and Mr. Shakespeare engaged in the Romeo and Juliet match. Did we not establish that it was after 1 o'clock in the morning when they drank the tea? I'm supposed to focus on tomorrow's proceedings will be how the poison was taken by the victim, then. That rotten Shakespeare! What have I ever done to him? I don't recall him ever taking issue with you over anything you've done recently. I've been holed up in my room, immersed in books. I don't recall anything at all. Right. What I don't understand excuse me, I yawned, is why he didn't let me know sooner. But you know what, Mr. Natsume? About the soap, of course. What else? Oh dear. Are you struggling with this a meager stipend? Of course I am. If I had money, I wouldn't have chosen to live in a cursed existence in such accursed lodgings. Ah yes, you said it's because the place is cursed and it's so cheap, didn't you? Exactly! Especially the room that I rent. The spirit of that capital offender who lived there still haunts the place. They're just trying to kill me. Capital offender? This guy? The Sultan? That's new. News. Capital offender? Might I ask Mr. Local Student Naruhodo Esquire that the next time you visit me, you bring scores of super soft soaps. So this is something we haven't done in the past. In this, we're going to present this article, and we'll see if he has anything to. What's this? It's a newspaper cutting that we found in Mr. Shakespeare's room. Oh, so he knew, did he? Sorry. About this man, Selden. a convicted killer, and the evil spirit behind the curse that afflicts my lodgings. What? He's taken one young man's life, and now he's trying to take the life of another. A miserable mustached, much maligned Japanese man. Mr. Natsume, if you know something, please, you must tell us. Tell us everything you can about this evil spirit. Now this should unlock more dialogue. Yes, there we go. Capital offender Seldon. The truth is, I didn't know the details myself until very recently. That Seldon man was arrested about a year ago now. At the same time, he was hiding out in lodgings at Mr. Garridub's house. What? You live where you do now? That's right, yes, exactly where I live now. In my very room. Didn't they say the previous tenant died in his room? Now they've retconned it to where he died in prison? Oh my! Your room was previously occupied by a criminal found guilty of a capital offense? But before his sentence could be carried out, he died in prison. That was 3 months ago now. And that's when it started. The curse. What really is this curse you keep mentioning, Mr. Natsume? It's already caused one death. A few months after the criminal passed away in prison, a man died in the room. The man who entered it after Seldon, in fact. The poor lodger, he was found dead in mysterious circumstances. The room was locked from the inside. Locked from the inside? That's actually like the case we're dealing with now. So that's the convict's curse, is it? Yes, well, that was the start of it. Do you have any idea how the lodger before you passed away, Mr. Natsume? The official cause of death was asphyxia. When they discovered the body, the room was full of gas. Gas? I only found that after I signed the lease. When Mr. Garridub came to tell me later, I couldn't stop myself trembling. In fact, if I'd known beforehand, I'd probably have been too scared to take the room. Well, it's at least luckily legal. Lucky for Mr. Garridub, maybe. Not so lucky for poor Mr. Natsume. And now you believe this curse is affecting you? Yes, it is. At first, I just felt as though I was being watched all the time. And then you talked about having nightmares, didn't you? The dagger tried to take me with them. They could come for me and try to suffocate me. Just when I'm struggling to breathe, I wake up. And the room is as cold as ice. But why is your room so cold? Well, winters are too cold to bear without any heating on overnight. But for some reason, even though I light the stove before I climb into bed at night, the pilot light always goes out and the room fills with gas. But that's terrible. That's exactly the same situation as what led to the previous occupant's death. And then there's what happened to Mr. Shamspear last night, when he was mysteriously poisoned. There's clearly more to that incident that can be explained by a curse, though. Whatever can be the cause of all these strange happenings in Mr. Garridub's rooms? I don't know why I'll pick converse again. Let's go ask Garridub himself. 22nd February, Mr. and Mrs. Garridub's room. Oh, you're here. Ah, you're here now, Mr. Garridub. What bully business it is for me, you know? Getting out and about. Were you at the Old Bailey by any chance? Naturally, affected my lodgings hanging in the balance and all that. Not a trial to miss. Bit of what's already been dubbed your haunted lodgings, yes? Of course, the place has caused quite a stir around the capital on more than one occasion already. As the old haunted lodgings or some such. Ah, well, at least he knows. Makes you wonder what the blazes is going on, don't you know? Yes, I'm sure it does. Why are you here, Holmes? In fact, I'm thinking back to Mr. Natsume's trial, well, just 2 days ago. You were at the Old Bailey then as well, weren't you? Testifying with your wife about what happened. Stopped off at the prison on the way home, in fact. Beastly business. I see. So, what brings you to my haunted abode today? Your lodgings? Some busy fellow from the far east and a failed actor chap of questionable character, eh? Yes, the house does seem to have become something of a magnet for rum fellows of late. That's that bully curse. The convent's curse, you mean? Well, heard the stories, have you? When scoundrel was arrested here, then the next chap in the room goes and keels over. Then there was that woman who dropped dead just outside of the street, not to mention the actor yesterday. I mean, the last two aren't dead. My next day? Well, I can't help but get the collywobbles, can you? When you say the woman who dropped dead outside on the street, do you mean Miss Green? Well, that's Miss Green who was stabbed by the knife, and Mr. Shanspeare was poisoned last night. Are both very much alive still. Yes, well, so is that plastic convent's curse, it seems. Personally, I should be quite content with such lodgings. A bath, a toilet, a fireplace, a fascinating history. Why? It sounds like the lap of luxury. I'm not so sure about that. Well, there's no bath or toilet included, and no fireplace either. But you do look out for your tenants, don't you? By watching the rise and fall of the flames in your gas lamps here. Yes, never hurts to keep an eye on things, in case there are any mishaps or such like. I think you've already had your mishaps, sir. Already, sir. Ha 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 ha! It's not helpful, Mr. Sholmes. Heaven forgive me, the words just came to my lips. Okay, well that's weird, because we definitely asked about the lodgings and we were talking about the lodgers, but let's talk about the lodgers, which if the same logic applies, we'll talk about the lodgings themselves. Some fishy fellow from the far east and a failed actor shall questionable character, eh? There's no need for that, Mr. Gyarados. That's right, Mr. Natsume is in no way fishy. He is undeniably peculiar, however. Is it right that he left the vacancy immediately after the previous tenant passed away? Yes, that's right. I asked the estate agent to find someone and he popped up the very same day. Never come across a chap so keen for a place with a background, as it were. I don't think it was the room's background he was keen on so much as the cheap rent, actually. So, how long has Mr. Shanspeare been lodging under your roof? That failed actor chap? Let me see. Oh, of course. Yes, it's been 3 months now. Quite sure of it. Only 3 months. He's quite new here too, though. And to what do you owe your certainty in that regard, Mr. Gyarados, if I might ask? Well, what was that Selden scoundrel as it happens? Selden? The convict, you mean? Does Selden and Shanspeare have some kind of connection then? That convent chap, Selden, passed away in the clinic 3 months ago now, you see. Some malady or other. Yes, we've seen the report from the newspaper at the time. It was only 3 days later that the tragedian showed his face. The actor fellow. Really? Yes, I remember it quite distinctly. 'Tis small, this world we inhabit, and prithee, your landlord, hear my request. I, the humble Shamsford, to decide to take my room on the middle floor, offer and air for rent. Terribly sorry, not, but it won't be possible. Already have a lodger on the middle floor. Ground floor rooms vacant though. Nothing can be made out of nothing. We repeat, mine will unto thee. Those coats must be muffling your ears. The room on the middle floor is taken. It's ground floor, nothing. Very well, we have an accord. Glad to hear it. Welcome to Briar Road. Lo, a Shakespearean dance to celebrate. From what I heard in court today, sounds like the chap was thieving gas. And he was 3 months in arrears with the rent, too. Yes, the fellow was a bully player, all right. Thank you for your candor, Mr. Gardup. We are most grateful. By way of appreciation, allow me to say 1 or 2 words. Give me my robe, put on my crown. I have immortal longings in me. What's happened to you? Shakespeare, my dear fellow, one of his most famous lines. I wish to divulge my own learning of the subject, for I have a turn for literature too, you know. Perhaps you could turn your attention to more apt lines then. Alright, well, tell us about this picture. Mr. Gardup, can I ask you to look at this photograph? Every time you do it makes you laugh. Is that your son who's with you there? No, not at all. He was a lodger here once. Duncan Ross was his name. Duncan Ross? A street photographer happened to be passing by, so I asked him to take a shot, just for kicks, really. Was he by any chance the lodger before Mr. Natsume? Yes, that's right. Ah, the young gentleman who died in the room in mysterious circumstances. That's what Mr. Mustache was waiting for, one might say. Yes, young Duncan lived in the room at the top of the first flight of stairs before that Japanese chap. Okay, so it is. So I was wrong. It was 3 floor. So ground floor, middle floor, and garret. So the ground floor where Shamspear resides. Soseki resides in the first floor, which for the U.S. would be the second floor. And then the second floor, which is U.S. third floor, is the garret room. Would you mind telling us a little more about him? Yes, Duncan Ross, young chap was attending art school. Had to work to pay for it, mind. Moved into the middle floor room about a year ago after that criminal Selden was arrested. Young students are always on the hunt for rooms with a history behind them. History of cheap rent, maybe, yes? Yes, well anyway, it was one morning about a month ago now. I whipped up the old trick of watching the gas lamps to see what my lodgers are up to at the time. So sadly, I was rather tardy to discover what happened. The smell of gas that alerted me it was. Ah, yes, synonymous with the smell of death. Called the police straight away, of course, and the officer kicked the door off its hinges. But once we got inside, we all fully collapsed. Because of the gas? Yes, room was full of it. No air at all. I'm sorry, give me a moment, I'm adjusting my hair. Still must have gone out while the poor chap was sleeping in his bed. So Mr. Ross suffocated to death. Of course, the police gave me a sound ticking lock because the gas pipes were so old and all that. Can't tell you much, it sent me back to have the lock replaced all over the house. But then after you had all that work done, Mr. Natsume says the same thing. The stove goes out at night while he's asleep in bed. Well, that's the bully curse, the convict's curse. I've done my duty as a landlord now. Someone's feeling defensive. Ah, that reminds me, actually. Yes? How about young Duncan, the night before the poor chap perished? He'd been writing a letter of affection to a young lady. A love letter, you mean? Yes. Where did I put it now? Ah, here it is. Left it on my desk. If you'll excuse me. Let me see it now. What does it say? To my most beautiful and charming sweetheart. Do you think that we should be reading such a personal piece of correspondence? My dear Susato, that's precisely why I preface my reading with, if you'll excuse me. I will not excuse you, Mr. Sholmes, no. Susato, this might be relevant to the case. Sadly, he didn't address it, though. That's by no means of delivering the thing. Rather sad, really. I see. That's going to play on my mind. But really, the identity of Mr. Ross's sweetheart has no bearing on the case. I think we should leave Olaf alone. Yes, I suppose you're right. Indeed, the intended recipient's address is missing, however. There's a name attributed to the man's most beautiful and charming sweetheart. Mr. Sholmes, please, I've already had to chastise you about this once. My undying love to you and my colorful dog, Olive Green. Ah! Oh, Olive Green? The woman who was plunged into a coma after a knife plunged into her back outside this house 5 days ago. The victim of the last case Soseki-san was in court for, who regained consciousness only yesterday. Is it just a chance that her name has come up now? Could it possibly be mere coincidence? Mr. Naruhodo, whatever can this mean? Reading personal correspondence can have its merits, you see, Mr. Ha 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 ha! Alright, well... Was that added to... that wasn't added to the court record. Can I converse with him? No. Let's go back to to Miss Green's hospital bed. And we can ask her. Maybe we can ask her. 22nd February, St. Bartholomew's Hospital. Recovery ward. Mr. Naruhodo, I've just finished speaking with the doctor. It says Miss Green is well enough to be discharged at last. This is good news, but hopefully just before she leaves. Ah! What is it? Miss Green! What was that? She clearly just hit something behind her back. One moment, I'll be with you in a jiffy. Oh, hello everyone. What are you all doing here? The doctor said I can be discharged, so I'm just getting my things together. Miss Green, what were you just doing? Oh, nothing really. I was just about to take some medicine the doctor prescribed for me, that's all. Well, we're hoping to have another quick chat with you, if that's alright. I don't really have anything else to tell you. Alright, she's definitely behaving strangely. Let's see if we can't coax something out of her. It's wonderful news that you're going to be discharged, Miss Green. Oh, yes. I mean, thank you. Once people are better, the hospital staff don't want them lingering for wasting space. Not people like me, anyway. So, I don't think I should keep anyone waiting. I probably shouldn't stand around and chat. This fellow doesn't seem to be in the mood to talk, that's for sure. Alright. Time to hit her where it hurts. Miss Green, we're going to ask you about someone. Mr. Duncan Ross. You knew him, didn't you? What the? Oh no, I'm so sorry. The bottle of medicine fell down when she did. Oh, Miss Green, are you alright? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to startle you like that. No, it's alright. I just wasn't expecting it. But how do you know about Duncan? Mr. Ross had been writing a letter when he passed away. The landlord found it in his room. It was a very personal letter to you. It was at the art school. That's where I met Duncan a year ago now. He was working to fund his studies. He dreamt of becoming a professional artist one day. And the two of you became romantically involved? Yes, that's right. We were very much in love. We were engaged to be married, actually. That's why I decided to move into a cheaper room to save money for the wedding. So that's what led him to Mr. Gyarados. Yes, he told me he found the worst but cheapest room in the entire East End. And then 1 month ago, that's when it happened. We're so terribly sorry, Miss Green. Well, it's all in the past now, I suppose. Oh, Miss Green, she looks desperately sad. So I think that's just her luck. But now I see that she has every reason to feel the universe is against her. I do hope you won't think I'm being rude, but would you mind leaving me in peace now? I have to leave the hospital soon. Oh, I'm so sorry. We didn't mean to hold you up. Of course, we are waiting. Mr. Naruhodo! Mr. Naruhodo! Surely you are not about to leave. That was quite out of the question. The rat died after drinking whatever that liquid she was drinking or was about to drink was. Well, Mr. Schultz, I didn't realize you were here. But of course I was, my dear fellow. Watching intently from the shadows as always. Well, make your presence known next time. Mr. Schultz, what's this about? Something which occurs to me with some regularity, Mr. Sato, is this. Why do detectives insist on an ex post factum modus operandi? Why solve a case after it's happened, instead of preventing a case before it happens? That is what sets a great detective apart. What do you mean? There is a case waiting to happen under our very noses, Mr. Naruhodo, so let us avert disaster. Let us prevent this case from ever happening with nothing but careful observation. Alright. All the clues you need are set before you. You need only look, and you cannot fail to see. You can do it, Mr. Naruhodo. I know you can. Well, first off, definitely feels as though this car must be relevant. I mean, when we first arrived, this room was standing within our hand and what Colin described as a very tense atmosphere. Yes, and it may very well be related to whatever incident Mr. Schultz believes is about to happen here. Let's just ask Miss Green about it. That mouse seems to be dead. Look, I didn't notice it there before, did you? I think that's drank the medicine that spilled out of the bottle. But that's the bottle Miss Green was about to drink from when we arrived. You don't think... Ah, I see you've come to appreciate the true nature of this scene. That of a tragedy about to take place. Yes, I think it's falling into place. Miss Green, the contents of the bottle you had before was spilled out onto the floor, and the poor mouse that drank it has sadly died. I think it's clear that the bottle must have contained a powerful poison. Don't worry, I will attend the mouse presently. Miss Green, well, you intended to go in the same way as that rodent? To take your own life? Once we left, you would put your lips to your lips again, wouldn't you? And take in the poison. Hey, no! Miss Green, please, talk to us. Let's talk about the card first. Neither the sender's name or address appear to be written on the envelope or the card. But I was at my home the day before the incident that put me in the hospital here. The envelope. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Wait a minute. The 17th of this month? That's the day you were stabbed on Briar Road. And 5 p.m. is precisely the time when the incident occurred. The Slug and Salad, yes. A pub on the northern corner of Briar Road. Can you mark that on this map? Northern corner, probably right here then. Briar Road. Being the street that Mr. Garrett's house is on. Does this mean that... Yes, I'm sure you've guessed. That day when I was stricken the back by the knife, I was actually on my way to the Slug and Salad. Goodness! So that's what you were doing on Briar Road that day. I'm sorry I didn't see anything before. Sounds like a month later, I would have arrived at a very different scene here. In all probability, we would not have enjoyed this most delightful conversation. Of course, perhaps it hasn't been quite so delightful from your perspective, Miss Green. Actually, in a way, now that everything's out in the open, I feel like a weight has been lifted. Tell me, how did you acquire that medicine? Well, with this being a hospital and all, when the doctor comes to examine me in the mornings, he always leaves the medicine cabinet open for a while, so I stuck this out when he wasn't looking. It conspicuously lacks a label. I wonder what it contains. I'm afraid I don't really know. But I thought, if I drank it, I might just stop the pain somehow. Oh please, Miss Green, don't talk of such things. It seems clear now that it contains poison. Yes, that poor little mouse is proof of that. More likely it contains actual medicine, but the concentration is so intense that it would kill a rodent very quickly, and a human probably not exactly quickly, but not exactly slowly. Oh no. Oh, it's my fault. What have I done? I shall remove this to my office, Miss Green. I take it you have no objection. No. I think I really will have to ask you to excuse me now. I've told you everything. Yes, I'm very sorry to have had to drag up such painful memories for you. No, it's fine. Miss Green, please promise us you won't try to do anything like that again. Yes, don't worry. Your detective friend has the bottle now anyway. The bottle that's on the ground behind her. And besides, I've been stabbed in the back and had a close shave with a bottle of poison, and I'm still here. I think I'm destined to see things through to the end. It might sound a little conceited, but, well, that's how all this has made me feel. Leaving Miss Green and St. Bartholomew's behind, we made our way back to Baker Street with Mr. Schultz. Well, it would appear we've reached the end of the investigated trail for today. Yes, it's late. And Mr. Naruhodo, did you discover anything that may be of use to you in court tomorrow, do you think? Details about Mr. Shamspear, Mr. Gerda's belonging, Mrs. Convict Selden. There are many facets to this case, and we're yet to see the heart of it, if you ask me. That's my feeling, anyway. I can't help but wondering about the results of the analysis. Into Mr. Natsume's team. Yes, will they have found strychnine in it or not? Well, I fear that either way, it will be hard to escape the grip of our friend, Mr. Reaper. Oh dear. Yes, Barak von Zeeks. I do, but I wish you every success, of course. And though I was late to rise this morning, tomorrow will be a new dawn, and I intend to spring from my bed at a crisp hour and attend the trial. Mr. Sholmes, you're going to come? Indeed, whatever happens, I shall be there, assuming my eyelids cooperate in the morning. Well, I think we've done all we can. All that's left is to remain focused and keep fighting for Mr. Natsume's cause until the very end. London, the world's most prosperous city, home to 6 million people. But away from the razzle-dazzle down back alleys and behind bricked-up windows, the lonely lurk. Soseki-san had battled long and hard with loneliness during his many months here. And so I felt honor-bound to battle equally hard for my compatriot to lift the curse that gripped him. As Mr. Solm said, tomorrow would be a new dawn. For all of us. To be continued. There it is. I was gonna say to be. I was gonna say if this doesn't drop a to be continued, I'm gonna be really weirded out. Alright, it hasn't been. It's only been like 3 hours, but but it's starting, the heat in the room is starting to build up, and I mean, last time I took a risk on, when I took a risk at part 5 of the final trial, things obviously went way longer than I thought they were going to. So, it's only been 3 hours and 45 minutes of stream, but we'll continue this probably tomorrow. Just to kind of make up for yesterday. I was going to do Golden Sun Lost Age yesterday, but then I realized, oh wait, Golden Sun Lost Age, then I realized, oh wait, it's Monday, which should really be my Great Ace Attorney Chronicles day. Or one of them. Maybe Lost Age tomorrow. Not sure. I'll have to decide that. That's something I'll have to think about. But for now, that's all. So good night. I will see you all tomorrow for both YouTube and stream. Later.